Welcome to the West Ham Voice. Thank you for joining me on a Tuesday morning. I did a show on Monday night, the West Ham Weekly, to talk about David Sullivan and what he's expecting from the transfer window, especially the price for Declan Rice. And the story came out yesterday that David Sullivan will accept no less than 120 million pounds. However, that's made up. His ideal preference will be it's 110 million cash and 10 million in add-ons. Whether he gets that or not, I don't know. Whether the club get that or not, I don't know. But the transfer window took a turn for the better for us on Monday night because it looks like we're going to go into orbit because Manchester City have finally made a bid for Declan Rice. Now, we heard that the bid was £80 million plus 10 million in add-ons. So when it comes to valuation, it's going to be nowhere near, well, not going to be, it isn't anywhere near what David Sullivan wants for the player. But we're a little bit closer. It certainly beats the two bids that Arsenal have put in, the first being 60 million plus 15 million in add-ons and the second being 75 million and 15 million in add-ons. So we're going in the right direction. But there's still a £30 million gap between valuation and offer. Now, the story broke out by from David Ornstein of The Athletic on Monday night. I checked it. You know, everyone's reporting it now. And I dare say by the time you're watching this video on Tuesday morning, it'll be corroborated one way or another. Either West Ham United will turn around and say, we've received a bid, but we've not accepted it, or whatever the case may be. So there's a £30 million gap. But like I said, I dare say that £30 million gap would soon be made up through negotiations. Now that there are two teams involved, it gets far more interesting. Up until now, with only Arsenal being involved, it was getting a little bit boring. Arsenal was sitting back, seemed to be waiting not to make another bid. They waited all weekend, nothing materialized. But now, with Manchester City actually showing their card, showing their hand, it looks like things could certainly get serious. Look, the Man City bid kind of makes perfect sense in a way. They lost Ilkay Gundogan to Barcelona. He went there on a free. Now, I know they're already negotiating his replacements with Mateo Kovacic coming to Man City, £30 million deal. But if they get Declan Rice as well, it could give Manchester City probably the best central midfield in Europe, or certainly one of the best midfields in Europe. On top of Kovacic, and if they do get Rice as well, they've already got superstar Spanish midfielder Rodri, who has been phenomenal for them since he moved to Manchester City. So, you know, they will just look to strengthen more and more. And the other reason why it makes sense for Manchester City to bring in someone like Declan Rice is because of what they did, what Guardiola did during last season. He brought players in like Kyle Walker and more recently John Stones to play alongside Rodri in midfield. It was a tactical ploy by Guardiola, which paid off handsomely. I mean, they won the treble. By providing that extra man in a key area of the pitch, they controlled the game much more. Now, despite a poor season for West Ham United, Declan Rice was still top of the charts for recoveries, interceptions, and distance carrying the ball in the Premier League. He would be a first-class defensive midfield partner for Rodri, able to break up play and also to deliver from deep on the ball. So what about the deal itself? What is good and what is bad about the deal? Well, let's start off with what's bad, because as mentioned, it hasn't hit the valuation. But I dare say, like I said, I think that's now going to be negotiated. On a personal level for Declan Rice, it's been suggested quite heavily that he'd rather stay in London because of his family. He's got a young baby, etc. That kind of makes a lot of sense. So Rice really does now have a decision to make. If one of these two teams, Arsenal or Man City, let's say it's Man City, actually make us a bid that is acceptable to West Ham, Declan Rice will have a decision to make. Will he go up north and looking for trophies, looking for silverware, looking to win almost anything that might be available to him? Or will he stay in London If Arsenal make a suitable bid, of course, will he stay in London to work on the project that Arsenal are clearly involved in? When you think about it, it's not that far, Manchester, is it? A couple of hours away. And he'll be in good company as well. There's many England players, squad players, that are playing for either Manchester City or Man United. So what about good? What's good for about this deal? Well, look, it makes sense. Declan Rice will be joining a club that has clearly demonstrated its success on both the domestic and European stages. And the chances are of them repeating this success are very high. If Rice joins Manchester City, by this time next summer, he could be a domestic trophy, a European trophy, and a Premier League winner, all in his first season. What's also good about this move is for the player personally in developing. How many coaches are there in Europe, around Europe, that could really improve Declan Rice as a footballer? If he really does want to become the all-encompassing central midfielder that he desires to be, who else but someone like Pep Guardiola can unlock that potential? And let's not forget, Yaya Toure is his idol. He wants to, he idols himself on Yaya Toure. Who did he play for? Man City. I guess the other good thing, especially for West Ham United, is, as I've already mentioned, it truly creates a bidding war for the players' services between Arsenal and Manchester City. If Arsenal are really serious, they now have to show the money. And I think many people are suggesting that Arsenal do not have the financial ability to be able to match a bid made by Manchester City. So Sullivan will only accept the best bid. So this is a good thing for West Ham United. Okay, we're losing a fantastic footballer. We've known this for quite some time. We've been kind of expecting it, really, haven't we, for probably the last couple of seasons. And now it's really happening. So for West Ham United, it's a win-win. We will get the money that we want for the player, and that will be able to 100 odd million pounds, over 100 million pounds, will certainly give incoming technical director Tim Steidten a sizable transfer kitty to hit the ground running with. And I'm sure with the success rate that Steidten has had, both at Werder Bremen and Bayer Leverkusen, I'm sure he'll be able to spend that money wisely. And I dare say, probably one of his first signings is likely to be someone like Swiss international Denis Zakaria, who is on the Juventus books, but was on loan at Chelsea last season. So he's had a taste of the Premier League already. So in essence, to be quite honest with you, things might start beginning to look up. Look, it's down because we're losing such a great player, but on the up is it looks like we will get the money that we want for Declan Rice, and that will sort of bode well in terms of being able to strengthen the squad in a number of areas that we need. So let's see what happens over the coming days. I do think that the Declan Rice transfer scenario will finish this week. It will be concluded this week, so we can get on and start doing our own transfer business in the market. Thank you for watching. Really much appreciated. If you're new to the channel, do hit the subscribe, like, and bell notifications to let you know when I'm next on. And I'll see you all very soon.